Work, nigga. Gang, B-I-B-O,
One double O,
B-I-B-O.
Big B-boy on them gang shit, you know,
big
rockin'
B-boy on them
nigga.
niggas.
Became my blunt, bitch.
You're watching the master at work.
Smoke 'em like a BK, that's GG.
Blunt.
On the range, still smoke on your OG. Tryna put a BK on TV. Gotta tell his little
Hey yo, what up, squad? Hey man, welcome back to HOODROK ENTERTAINMENT, the realest, dopest, most active reaction channel on YouTube. If it's your first time tapping in, hit that subscribe button. Where you been? For starters, where you been, bro? Yo, I've been tapping this 2.5 years now. 2.5 years now, and yo, I've been getting hounded in the comment section to do this one, bro. On the other geography nows that I've done, like, yo, I think this will be about the 12th or 13th one we've done. And when I did Sweden, yo, I got a shout out to all the Scandinavians, but when I did Sweden, everyone was in the comment section, yo, where's Norway? Where's Norway? Where's Denmark? You know what I mean? I'm like, alright, chill. So I thought, finally, we're gonna bring Norway. We got Denmark coming up next. Now the reason why we're doing this and not the music is because I just finished sitting here for an hour and a half and doing a whole album. So I did Alex's album from Germany. I mean, not Alex, Maxwell. Fire, bro. It was dope. So after an hour and a half of sitting there doing music, I thought, yo, we'll tap in with something else. So if you got something to smoke, you know, bring that along. Blaze with your boy. That's some good shit. So yo, anyway, let's get it, bro. Let's see what's up with this. Damn, that's nice. Ah, damn. Run the numbers up on this video.
Everyone, so I'm excited
All
for
of
this
that.
one. We
Hit the
recently did a
notification bell.
geography
You know
in
what it is.
Oslo, Norway, and I had the honor to meet many of you guys, the Norwegian geograpeeps, in your own country. It was amazing. Norway is a country everyone has kind of heard about, something about snow, ice, Vikings, skiing, I think trolls. But Norway is also a land of highly compounded history, tradition, postmodernism, and above all, landscape and people. And black metal. Yes, Keith is really excited for this episode.
Oh, for real? Does black metal come from Norway? Hey yo, that's dope. I didn't know that.
Hey everyone, I'm your host Barbs. We've done Denmark, Finland, Iceland, and now the fourth Nordic sister, Norway. Now in the Nordic countries, Norway would kind of be like the one that everyone either tries to call their best friend or date. She smiles at the ground, pulls her hair behind her ear, and looks
Now remember, Norway, I mean, Nordic does not mean Scandinavian, right? There's only 3 Scandinavian countries, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. Finland, not so much. The culture might be there, but it's not, historically not, Scandinavian, you know what I mean?
Eyes that sparkle and says,
Welcome to Norway! Oh, shit.
Norway plays a huge role in what it means to be Northern European. And when you look at it on the map, you'll see that it's fascinating how well they've developed the civil infrastructure from a rugged, half-frozen peninsula. Oh, and there's a town called Hell. First of all, the country, which kind of looks like the shape of a spoon, is located in Northern Europe in the
So, right, you got...
region known as
I was gonna say, so you got like... You know, you got Norway, Sweden, Denmark down here, right?
Scandinavia, just above the North Sea, bordering mostly Sweden to the east, Finland in the far north, and even a small sliver of Russia at the very end. This effectively means that Norway goes even further east than Finland and gets the entire Arctic coast from their neighbors, sharing the Barents Sea with Russia. Apart from that, Norway has some overseas territories as well.
Oh, hang on. But it doesn't. Because look at this part of Finland. Look at this part of Finland here. This is more east than the peninsula, than this put up here. Wow. You know what I mean? Technically.
2 of which are in the Arctic Circle, the Svalbard Archipelago with only about 3,000 people, mostly in the largest town, Longyearbyen, and the uninhabited Jan Mayen Island, which was actually kind of traded with the UK for these islands in Canada in like 1930 when Canada was still British. Weird trade-off, but okay. After that, they have 2 dependent territories, the Antarctic areas of Peter I Island and Bouvet Island, way down south, neither of which are permanently inhabited, and they also claim a portion of Antarctica known as Queen Maud Land. Going back to the mainland though, the country is currently, as of 2019, divided into 17 counties, or fylker, plus the unincorporated...
I never knew that, because New Zealand is a gateway to Antarctica. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, New Zealand is the southernmost country in the world, so yo, that was trippy to know that, because we're kind of tasked, New Zealand and Australia are kind of tasked with governing and, you know, guarding or taking care of Antarctica.
1. South Africa, Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile have had close links as members of the Convention for the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources. These 5 nations kind of act as like the southern gateways to Antarctica, and they hold a high level of responsibility when it comes to monitoring the South Seas. China inhabited, and they also claim a portion of Antarctica known as Queen Maud Land. Going back to the mainland though, the country is currently, as of 2019, divided into 17 counties, or fylker, plus the unincorporated area of Svalbard, which, by the way, holds the northernmost permanently inhabited settlement in the world, with a population around 40 in the winter and 120 in the summer.
Hey, that's fire, because the Chatham Islands, which is part of New Zealand, hosts the southernmost inhabited place in the world. Yo, that's fire. Because, you know, New Zealand being the most southern country.
The thing is, in 2020, the country will merge some of these counties into 11 regions. Already, North and South Trondelag have merged,
so
and the final result in 2020 will look like this. The country's largest city and capital is Oslo, located in the southeast, which also holds the largest airport, Oslo Lufthavn International, as well as Oslo shipping port, the busiest shipping port in the country. A skip to the west, you find the second largest city, Bergen, with of course the second largest airport, Bergen International. It is said that almost around 80% of the country lives within 10 kilometers of the ocean, and despite the rugged mountainous terrain, the nation has an extensive network.
Bro, I swear to God, when he's talking about Norway, I could swear he's talking about New Zealand.
Now, New Zealand is interesting because due to its shape, there is no part of the country that is more than about 80 miles or so from the ocean. The flatter valleys on the sides of the mountains are where most people live and produce crops and livestock.
You know what I mean? Like, here's a couple clips from the New Zealand one. Check it out. Now, you see what I'm saying?
Of roads, bridges, and trains that cross virtually every region of the nation, including the Lærdal Tunnel, the world's longest road tunnel that stretches 24 kilometers long, cutting through a mountain, and also the famous Atlantic Road that hops from island to island in the Møre og Romsdal County. Now, what's really fascinating is that Norway kind of went from this to this, and for a nation that has never surpassed 5.5 million in population, it's pretty...
Damn! I could swear he's talking about New Zealand. We're at 5.1 million in population. And this is the most we've ever had in our country, is 5.1 million. Yo, trip.
Impressive. How did this happen, though? Well, as the legend goes, in the 60s, Denmark was like...
Hey, Norway, you are just the best. I love you, man, and you know, just to prove it, I'm gonna give you all this ocean water stuff.
Wow, really?
Just...
Oh, this ocean water stuff. They hustled you, niggas.
Norway, you are just the best. I love you, man, and you know, just to prove it, I'm gonna give you all this ocean water stuff.
Wow, really?
Yeah, just take it.
Thanks. Whoa, there's like a ton of oil here. Thanks, Denmark.
Actually, it was the Geneva Convention like 10 years prior to that, but that's still kind of boring.
Shit. So they gave them some shit thinking, yo, we're gonna buddy up to them. You know what I mean? Give them all this water. Because he ain't shit in the water. We're going to give them all this water. And they're going to think, and you know, it's going to make the tires a little bit stronger. Next minute, they go check the water and it's like, yo, look at all this oil. Yo, what?
As you can clearly tell, Norway has lots of access to the ocean. Due to all the serrated inlets and fjords, plus islands, they have the 7th largest coastline in the world. This also means that roads and bridges can only take you so far, and in order to get around in Norway's west coast, you'll see a lot, and I mean a lot, of ferries and ships. And what's cool is that, like some of their neighbors, Norway has a free roaming law, in which you can pretty much camp out anywhere in nature as long as it is not on private property. We all know some towns in...
Same here, bro. Same here in New Zealand, we're the same.
Norway are situated in the most picturesque locations. Some, like this town, have no direct sunlight for 6 months because of the mountains, so they built giant mirrors to illuminate them. Fun fact, Longyearbyen is known for being both the mountains, so they built giant mirrors.
Y'all niggas built mirrors so you could get some sun? Yo, that's a trick. Hey, whatever you gotta do to hit that sunshine, you know what I mean?
Fun fact, Longyearbyen is known for being both the brightest and darkest place on Earth. Because of its location on the Arctic Circle, it gets 110 continuous days of no sunshine and 95 days of no night. Also, they have an emergency seed bank with over 1 million specimens built into the side of a mountain in case of the apocalypse and all plant life dies out on Earth. Also, technically, it's illegal to die in a mountain.
Hey, yo, that's the smartest shit I've ever heard. Y'all niggas go.
Night. Also, they have an emergency seed bank with over 1 million.
Y'all niggas got an emergency seed bank. Seed bank. For plant life and shit. Tucked away in a storage thing. Somewhere on a frozen ass island where no one lives. Bruh. My nigga, that's on point. And it's on a frozen island, so, you know what I mean? It's frozen.
Darkest place on Earth. Because of its location on the Arctic Circle, it gets 110 continuous days of no sunshine and 95 days of no night. Also, they have an emergency seed bank with over 1 million specimens built into the side of a mountain in case of the apocalypse and all plant life dies out on Earth. Also, technically, it's illegal to die in Svalbard. Because of the permafrost, bodies do not decompose, so you must either ship out your body or cremate it. Not sure how to segue out of that, but let's talk about cool places. So you must either ship out your body or cremate it. Not sure how to segue out of that, but let's talk about cool places. Now
So you can't bury your shit? Yeah, I don't know. My culture, we bury in my culture, so I'm not too sure about that.
Million specimens built into the side of a mountain in case of the apocalypse and all plant life dies out on Earth. Also, technically, it's illegal to die in Svalbard. Because of the permafrost, bodies do not decompose.
It's not illegal to die there. You just can't get buried there, you know what I mean?
So you must either ship out your body or cremate it. Not sure how to segue out of that, but let's talk about cool places. Now, I asked some of you guys in Norwegian geography what some of the top places to visit in Norway are, and here are some of the suggestions you gave. Nordkapp, the Viking Ship Museum, Nidaros Cathedral, the dock of suggestions you gave. Nordkapp, the Viking.
Y'all wanna go there? Yo, that'd be dope. Look at that ship, though. Stop playing,
Ship Museum, Nidaros Cathedral, the dock of Bergen, the King's Castle, Alta's Igloo Hotel.
Yo, what the fuck? Hold up.
Nidaros Cathedral, the dock of Bergen, the King's Castle, Alta's Igloo.
Bruh, that looks fire. Is that a hotel? You can stay there? Yo, that's dope. Cause there's a bar here in New Zealand. It's not even a bar, it's just a room in Queenstown in this bar that you can go to, and it's all iced out in there. You go in there, you put the coats on, you sit at the ice bar, drink out of ice cups, all that kind of shit, you know what I mean?
Blue Hotel, Frogner Park, and Vigeland Sculpture Park. Try to find the one with the dude fighting the babies. This fortress, this Iron Age farm, the world's largest moose with the dude fighting the babies. This fortress, this
Yo, that's on point. That's dope. I want to go there.
Iron Age Farm, the world's largest moose sculpture, this whaling museum, the Roald Amundsen and Edward Munch monuments and grave, the Kon-Tiki Museum, the Polaria Aquarium and Edward Munch monuments and grave, the Kon-Tiki.
The Kon-Tiki
Museum, the Polaria Aquarium, the Ager Viking-style brewery, the Three Swords Monument, so many traditional stave churches, but this one is probably the most famous one. I mean, there's like 1 billion rocks named after body parts of trolls. There's that weird boulder jammed between 2 cliffs, a mountain with a hole in it so it looks like it got shot by a gun, so many ice caves, the world's strongest whirlpool, so many fjords like Geirangerfjord, Nordfjord, Hardangerfjord, Troll.
Bro, I was sitting there thinking, bro, the Kon-Tiki Museum.
Which prompted Thor Heyerdahl to propose an interesting theory. The incredibly named Thor Heyerdahl was a Norwegian adventurer. In the mid-20th century, he proposed that the Polynesian origin lay in America rather than in Asia. Thor built a raft and attempted to drift from Peru to Polynesia on the 28th of April, 1947.
So, the Kon-Tiki was a raft I'm reading it here. The Kon-Tiki was a raft was a raft that journeyed across the Pacific Ocean from South America to Polynesian Islands, which is where I live. I'm in the Polynesian Islands right now, right? And it was led by a Norwegian explorer and writer. His name was Thor, the man. The raft was named Kon-Tiki after the Incan god. That is a trip. That is a trip, because Al Kon-Tiki, so I think what he set out to do, I did a reaction to this, bro. I did a reaction to the Polynesians being the greatest sea navigators in history. And that's exactly what this guy was setting out to prove. He was setting out to prove that it was really the Polynesians, my people, that discovered America. Right? And how he tried to prove that was setting off from South America he was trying to prove that you could sail on a raft from South America to the Polynesian Islands where I live now. And that was what that is there. So that's where I got the mix up. So he was the dude that proved that it was my people that found America before Christopher Columbus.
The world's largest moose sculpture, this whaling museum, the Roald Amundsen and Edward Munch monuments and grave, the Kon-Tiki Museum, the Polaria Aquarium, the Ager Viking-style brewery, the Three Swords Monument, so many traditional stave churches, but this one is probably the most famous one. I mean, there's like 1 billion rocks named after body parts of trolls. There's that weird boulder jammed between two cliffs, a mountain with a hole.
Yeah, that's a trip. People like standing on that shit.
There's that weird
people like standing on that shit and taking photos,
boulder
bro.
jammed between two cliffs, a mountain with a hole in it so it looks like it got
dope.
shot by a gun, so many ice caves, the world's strongest whirlpool, so many fjords like Geiranger Fjord, Nordfjord, Hardanger Fjord, Troll Fjord, Harrison Fjord. They were even supposed to give Finland the peak of Mount Halti for their 100th birthday, but then it was kind of like,
Happy 100th birthday, Finland!
Thanks, Norway. So I heard that you're thinking of finally giving me the peak to my tallest mountain, right?
Oh yeah, sure, why not?
Awesome. Well, then let me have it.
Oh, see, there's this thing in my constitution called Article 1 which states that the Kingdom of Norway is indivisible, so here's a taco.
yeah, Norwegians actually really love tacos, which makes the perfect opportunity to transition into...
Really?
Now, if you know
Tacos?
anything about Norway's land, you'll know this one word. Fjords. Fjords, fjords. The word is even Norwegian.
Like Fiordland here in New Zealand.
Least inhabited and difficult to access, but most breathtaking part of New Zealand, the Fjordland. Steep cliffs plunging into the Tasman Sea, with Milford Sound being the most popular spot and the only one accessible by road.
Like Fiordland. You know what I mean?
And it's interesting how it became that way. Basically, like many other areas in the north, the country is a post-glacial peninsula with over 50,000 islands that at one point was completely covered in ice. Over time, the ice melted, eroding the rock beneath, creating the incredibly indented coastline of steep, jagged cliffs and fjords. Of the coast, the largest and deepest fjord is Sognefjord, and it is the third largest in the world, extending over 200 kilometers inland. This means that much of the country is divided into regions of choppy fjord stuff to the west, and the connected hilly and valley stuff to the south and southeast. Everything pretty much falls either within the alpine boreal climate or further up north, Arctic. Keep in mind that due to Svalbard and Jan Mayen, the Norwegian economic zone extends to the majority of the Norwegian Sea and much of the Barents, as well as the North Sea to the south. This is called the NCS, or Norwegian Continental Shelf. Here, the largest deposit of underwater oil is found that supplies Norway with much of its wealth. A skip to the east, you'll find the largest lake, Lake Mjøsa, which is just parallel to the longest river.
Y'all niggas boiling out. You're boiling out on that oil
Much
shit.
of its wealth. A skip to the east, you find the largest lake, Lake Mjøsa, which is just parallel to the longest river in the country, the Glomma, which drains all the way into the North Sea in the south and has a drainage basin that covers about 13% of the country's land. A little skip to the west, in the center, you find the longest and most dominant mountain chain, the Scandinavian mountains, where you can find the tallest peak, Galdhøpiggen, which is also the tallest in all of the Nordics. If we are discussing the overseas territories, then Svalbard is pretty much an Arctic archipelago of glaciers, this one being the largest in all of Europe, and the rest are mostly just cold valleys. Jan Mayen Island is the only place with an active volcano in Norway. The Berenberg Peak last erupted in 1980. Otherwise, if we skip all the way south to the Antarctic...
That's quite recent, bro. 1980, bro. That's quite recent, you know what I mean?
Bouvet and Peter I Islands are dormant volcanic islands, Bouvet considered the most remote island in the world, and both of which are nearly completely covered in ice and only inhabited by seals and birds. Now, keep in mind about the oil thing though, although they export lots of it, gas is actually still super expensive. According to globalpetrolprices.com, as of 2019, it is just over 17.2 krone per liter, making it one of the most expensive places to get gas in the world.
I don't want to talk about it.
This is partially because in
I was about to say, what the hell was that? You got so much oil, but you got so much, but you pay all this money for gas? Like what?
90, they initiated the Government Pension Fund Global. This is a national wealth fund run by the government to subsidize pensions when oil dependence runs dry. Now, Norway has lots of natural resources and clever ways of managing them, making them somewhat of a paragon for development few other nations can compare with.
Challenge accepted.
But for what it's worth, they have a unique system locked and loaded. And now it is time for my triple shot of espresso break. Usually this is the part where Noah comes in, but Noah is out of town. So let's give this to Keith.
Now, everyone knows that Norway is quite a prosperous nation, but just how prosperous is it? Let's just put it this way. They export more than they import, and not just petroleum products. Fish alone makes up about 10% of their exports, and they are the highest exporter of salmon out of any other country in the world.
I just love Voss water. It's expensive and it's Norwegian, so you know it probably came from like a mystical glacier or something.
Yeah, I know. That's basically just our tap water. I wash my...
I was about to say, yo, when you go into your store and they tell you, yo, it's New Zealand water, you read that bottle and it says New Zealand Alpine water. It's not, bro. It's not, bro. Like this, like they're saying here, our tap water is better than your guys' fucking, like, you know what I mean? Our tap water is better than your guys' the freshest water y'all niggas can probably get. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this dude's funny as hell.
Glacier or something.
Yeah, I know. That's basically just our tap water. I wash my dishes with that stuff every day.
It's expensive and Norwegian.
And you fell for it.
Y'all just got tricked.
Otherwise, the majority of the energy in Norway comes from hydroelectric power. Norway became one of the first countries to adopt a carbon tax back in 1991. Although cutting down trees is still done on a smaller scale, they were the first country to ban deforestation. They have Europe's largest herd of reindeer. They have lots of birds like puffins. Whales and orcas love swimming off the coast. In the Arctic, you can find polar bears and walruses. And now, food. Norwegian food is known for being either really nice, warm, and cozy, or straight up disgusting. They love their fish. You have some interesting fish dishes like lutefisk and rockfisk. Some other dishes include things like various types of porridge, pickled herring, kumla, reindeer made in various ways, meatballs in brown sauce, krumkake, brown cheese, these Christmas...
Oh, damn. Is that pork with crackle? Oh, that's pork and crackle and bangers? Like, yo, that's me all over, bro. That's me. Chops. Oh, bruh. Stop playing with your boy. That's New Zealand food. That's probably what I'm going to have for tea tonight. Something like that. You know what I mean?
Meatballs in brown sauce, krumkake, brown cheese, these Christmas dishes, and the national dish,
why do they call
that brown cheese, these...
Why do you call that Christmas dish? Why is that called a Christmas dish? That's just what we eat all the time.
Christmas dishes, and the national dish, fårikål. However, if you ask a Norwegian, they Christmas dishes, and the national...
Oh, that's me. Hey, that looks like a boiler.
Do we have?
That's a boiler. Bro, you just have boiler. Bro, we have boiler. I didn't think any other country did boiler. Boil up, that's what we call boiler. It's just boiled up meat, cabbage. Well, here we have watercress and puha. You know what I mean? With boiled potatoes. And you can check other stuff in it too. It doesn't have to just be there. You can pretty much put what you like in it. Hey, yo, that's fine.
Dish, Folkal. However, if you ask a Norwegian, they might tell you the new national dish of Norway is tacos. They might have some questionable ingredients on the table for you to add, like mayonnaise or cucumbers. And I mean, come on, Mexico, even you break your own rules all the time and mix things up in your own country. So let the Norwegians have their fun. And speaking of Norwegians, have fun.
Oh, and speaking of Norwegians having fun.
Oh, and speaking of Norwegians having fun.
Speaking of Norwegians, have fun.
Thank you, Keith. Norwegians have a saying.
Smoking
They
too
are
much
born
weed,
with
Keith.
skis. The word even comes
Yo,
from the ancient
put the
Norse
bong
word
down,
ski,
Keith.
which means split wood. If there was any kind of apex cold winter type of people on Earth, Norwegians would take the gold. And they literally do take the gold. Like, they have more Winter Olympics gold medals than any other country. First of all, the country has
For
about
real?
5.3 million people, and as of 2018, has the highest human development index out of any country in the world. At about 84%, the country is made up primarily of people that identify as ethnically Norwegian, including about 60,000 indigenous Sami people. About 8.3% of the population is other European descent, mostly Western Europe, and the remaining population is made up of other people groups from outside of Europe, from various regions of Africa, Asia, mostly from countries like Pakistan, Somalia, Morocco, Iraq, and Kurdish people. They use the Norwegian krone as their currency, they use the types C and F plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Interesting to note that they are not part of the EU, but part of the Europe.
Everything the opposite of my country when it comes to that shit.
Economic Area
Plugs
and
and shit like that.
Association. In fact, Norway is a kingdom, currently under the headship of King Harald V. However, his role is mostly representative and ceremonial. His executive powers are limited, and most government is ruled by the parliament. Essentially, though, although
So basically like England, where like the Queen's the head of, you know, but she pretty much just, she doesn't run the country, the parliament does, you know what I mean? Government. Just like New Zealand, the government runs, you know what I mean?
would argue Vikings kind of started in Denmark.
Prime
it
Minister,
really kicked
all that
off
shit.
in Norway. Norwegian Vikings did kind of all the exploring and colonizing and raiding and killing, you know, Viking stuff. And no, they did not wear helmets with horns. Language-wise, Norway actually has two official languages, Norwegian and Sami, the language of the minority northern indigenous peoples that have lived in the frigid regions for millennia. The Norwegian language, however, is kind of confusing though, because it kind of has two different writing systems that everybody must learn in school, Nynorsk and Bokmål. What exactly are they? Well, it kind of goes like this.
Hey, we've been in a union with the Danish for centuries and now they are gone. We can speak our own language freely.
Woohoo! But we've been writing our language in the Danish style for so long. I mean, what do? Do we change it?
Hi, I'm Evil Olsen, and I say yes. I'm going to listen to all the dialects of Norwegian and come up with a weird fusion thing that can work for everyone. I'll call it Nynorsk. We can teach it in schools and everyone can be free of Danish influence. And today, the Danish-style Bokmål is still used by about 85% of the population. Weird side note, the word ha can mean almost anything in Norway. For example, ha. 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 Speaking of which, like many of their other neighbors, Norwegians have 13 years of school, graduating at age 19. And when Norwegians are just about ready to take their final exams, they go on a 3-week party called Russ. And just look it up. Norway has lots of different dialects. Here are some of you guys, the Norwegian geographies, explaining.
På standardnorsk ville jeg sagt hvordan, men I Olsensområdet ville jeg sagt hvordan.
Hey, my name is Talina. In standard Norwegian, you might say våres, but in Egersund area, you say okkas.
In the west, you could say gysna løyer, and in the north, maybe korartig.
In Oslo, you would say something along the lines of det ikke lett, skjønner du. Trøndelag County, det ikke lett sjø.
So in standard Norwegian, you would say søppel. But in Bergen, we say boss.
Thank you. Otherwise, there are so many other things you guys, the Norwegian geopeeps, wanted us to talk about in terms of your culture. And here is random.
I guess like in New Zealand we speak 2 languages, but I guess it's not the same. But we speak English and Māori, right? So I speak both. I speak Māori, which is my traditional language, right? Native New Zealand, Māori, Polynesian, Pacific Island, whatever you want to call us, and I speak English as well.
Hannah with culture stuff.
Norway is a land loaded with tradition and folklore. Many of you have already heard of things like trolls and elves, but there's also scary beings like the HOODROK.
I didn't know the trolls came from Norway. That's a trip. That's dope to know because I never knew where they came from, so now I do.
Many of you have already heard of things like trolls and elves, but there's also scary beings like the HOODROK, Not Mara, and the Nuken. Pretty much all Norwegians are scary beings like the HOODROK.
Yo, nah, I ain't trying to run into the HOODROK, bruh. I ain't trying to fuck with that. Nah, dude, we good. God
not
damn.
Mara, and the Nuken. Pretty much all Norwegians are outdoorsy people. Hiking and cross-country skiing are national
Same here.
pastimes, hands down. Almost
Same here.
everyone owns some kind of
Same here, bro. New Zealand, love our outdoor shit, bro. Outdoors country. This is why I thought, when I tapped into Sweden, I thought, someone was telling me, yo, Norway would be a better place for you to tap into because it's so much like New Zealand. And I was like, yeah, I doubt it. But I was wrong, bro.
Mari sweater, made of wool with traditional patterns knitted onto the upper parts, usually in the national colors of red, white, and blue. Many Norwegians own small cabins in the woods, and they actually like to brag about how bad their cabins can be. As in how technologically disconnected they are, with the least amenities. No Wi-Fi, no electricity, no plumbing.
Yo,
You're
dope.
hardcore. Speaking of brag,
Yo, that is dope, bro. That is fire, bro. Fuck with that.
in Norway, it's considered super cool to come back from vacation and show off your tan, because it's kind of hard to get a tan in Norway. The Nobel Peace Prize is also
shit,
awarded
I forgot
in Oslo
about
every
that.
year. In Norway, everyone's income and wealth is on public record, mostly. But for what it's worth, the nation does this to help prevent tax evasion.
What if you're permanently tanned like me? Like, I permanently tanned, bro. I didn't change skin color. This is my skin color all year round. You know what I mean?
And finally, we cannot skip the bunads. These are traditional costumes of Norway that come in so many different varieties based on the region and town you are from. They are mostly worn for special occasions, especially for May 17th,
Yo,
the country's
that's
national
dope.
day, where they march to the castle in Oslo.
Yeah.
Yo, that's cool. Just look. I don't even look at that. Yo, that is dope. That is cool. I miss with traditional stuff, very cultural things, because I'm the same, like, you know what I mean? I miss with that kind of stuff, bro, because that's me as well. We dress up for special occasions and our own cultural stuff as well, so that's pretty dope.
Varieties based on the region and town you are
Yo,
from.
that's cool. Yo, that blue one is fiery. Yo, that black one is... Damn, that's the... Yo, I want to be on the black team. I'm not being disrespectful enough, but that is fire, bro. That black one is on point. I wonder what the... Do the guys wear some shit? Like, do the guys wear things, bro, or is it just like... You know what I mean? Because if the dudes wear the shit too, then yo, that's fire, bro. Because fuck, I want that black shit. I'm gonna be on the black team. Yo, let's keep going. Fuck.
They are mostly worn for special occasions, especially for May 17th, the country's national day, where they march to the castle in
that's
Oslo.
dope. Yo, that looks turned the fuck up.
The country's national...
My nigga, that looks turned the fuck up. Look at that shit. For real, does it get packed out like that? Is that every single year, bro? Does that many people? Because I know that Norway's population's like New Zealand, bro. Like, you know what I mean? We've only got 5 million people here. So does it actually get packed out like that? Because that's off the chain.
National Day, where they march to the castle in Oslo.
Yeah. All right, get out of here. I want to talk about music. Traditionally, Norwegians have their own regional folk music and dances called bugdedans. Traditional instruments include things like dulcimers, goat horn, willow flute. The traditional folk music eventually found a way to fuse with one of the most popular genres of Norway today, metal, or specifically Norwegian folk metal bands. Not only that, but black metal was started supposedly in Norway, and it has since been a domineering genre many people have been playing for decades. That's it for me.
Thank you again, Keith. Anyway, we gotta move on. History! In the quickest way I can put it, Viking Age. This dude unites Norway into one kingdom. Vikings invade and take over a ton of... I can put it. Viking Age. This dude...
The fear
unites Norway into one kingdom. Vikings invade and take over a ton of other places like England. Christianity, Old Kingdom, Black Plague, Union of Kalmar, Denmark takes over, Lutheranism, Sweden takes over, Constitution established, first wave of immigrants to America, they finally leave Sweden, World War I, neutral, women's suffrage, World War II, neutral again, but Germany doesn't care, joins NATO and European Free Trade Association, oil boom, they vote and reject EU membership, host the Winter Olympics in Lillehammer, largest underwater gas pipeline in the world opened, Oslo grows and more immigrants come in.
And going back to that shit too, that NATO and EFTA shit, right? The NATO shit, yo, Sweden and Finland, shout outs to you, bro. Like, yeah, joining. We're not gonna get into all that, but shout outs for wanting to join NATO too, cause shit, It's tough to stand alone these days, bro. You see what's happening to Ukraine, you know what I mean? Hey, glory to Ukraine too.
NATO and European Free Trade Association, oil boom, they vote and reject EU membership, hosting Winter Olympics in Lillehammer, largest underwater gas pipeline in the world opened, Oslo grows and more immigrants come in, and here we are today. I asked you Norwegian geographers for some notable people from Norway or of Norwegian descent, and here are some of the ones you suggested we put in this video. Eric the Red, so many past Vikings and kings, blah blah blah. Edvard Grieg, Edvard Munch, these riders, these cross-country skiers, Roald Amundsen, Magnus Carlsen, Max Magnus, Thor Heyerdahl, Fridtjof Nansen, so many musicians like these people, as well as actors like these people, and of course the royal family. Seriously though, did you guys people as
Yo, who were the actors?
Thor Heyerdahl, Fridtjof Nansen, so
Yo, I don't even know any of them. I don't know none of them.
so many musicians like these people, as well as actors like these people, and of course the royal family. Seriously though, did you guys watch the movie Kon-Tiki? It's pretty good. I mean, his migration theory was still kind of mostly wrong, but hey, you did a cool thing, man.
I know all about it. He tried to prove that we were the first people to... Yeah, yo, we're not even gonna...
And that's the thing about Norwegians. They're so globally intrepid. They reach out to the far corners. And with that, they've also made a lot of friends. Which brings us to...
Boom.
Now, Norwegians are known for being very level-headed and nice, but they do know who they support and stand by no matter what. First of all, Switzerland is kind of like their weird alternate parallel universe twin that shares a lot in common with them. They both are not part of the EU, they both are very financially stable, yet expensive to live in. They both have mountains and snow, and they both have similar values in general affairs. They get along pretty well and enjoy sharing the ski stories. The UK is a very close friend, especially Scotland due to their shared Viking history. They even give them a Christmas tree every year to say thanks for helping in World War II, and the king and government were taking...
Do they? For real? You hook them up a Christmas tree every year, decorated and all that shit? Yo, that's your word.
They even give them a Christmas tree every year to say thanks for helping in World War II, when their king and government were taken in from exile as the Germans tried to invade. Nepal has close ties with another mountain nation. They've taken much interest and send much aid to their programs. High-profile politicians have visited in the past, like their Minister of Environmental Development, Erik Solheim, and the Prime Minister of Nepal visited Norway as well. For the USA, they have a very close connection, not only in diplomacy, government, and business, but specifically to the diaspora living in the USA, and specifically the state of Minnesota. Nearly 1 million Norwegian Americans live in this one state alone. The USA holds more people of Norwegian...
in one state?
Nearly 1 million Norwegian Americans live in this one state alone. The USA holds more people of Norwegian heritage than any other country outside of Norway, with almost as many as there are in Norway. They even have a game show called Alt for Norge, in which Norwegian Americans see the homeland of their ancestors. They cry and act way too dramatic, which is entertaining. The winner gets to meet their Norwegian relatives, and the losers get a book telling them information, but they don't get to meet their relatives, which is kind of messed up, but it's a game show, what do you expect? Anyway, when it comes to their best friends, pretty much what I've heard is a mix between all the Nordics, but specifically Iceland, Denmark, and Sweden. Iceland is like their party friend they love to go on adventures with. They're also kind of like the preserved Norse nation that their ancestors colonized, which holds a dear spot in their hearts. Today they have a defense agreement that allows the Norwegian Air Force to survey and patrol the Icelandic airspace as well. Denmark and Norway, however, are always kind of fighting for Norway's affection. Both these nations in the past have fought each other and ruled over Norway under separate kingdoms. All three countries were at one point part of the Kalmar Union. They can relatively understand each other when they talk. Swedish is closer to Norwegian though. They are all part of NATO, the Council of Europe, and many people from each of these nations end up marrying and having families together. In conclusion, Norway's prosperity doesn't stop with their will for gritty cold adventure. They've scaled the South Pole, the icebergs, the glaciers, and the tundras. It's almost as if the ice keeps them warm. Stay tuned, Oman is coming up next.
Yo, that was dope. Yo, that was fun. You see, like this, I love doing these things, bro. I love doing these history, geography videos. You learn so much, bro. You learn more than... Yo, I learn more and more every time. And even in the music videos, you know, like, bro. In the comment section, on the live streams, I learned so much more about these countries, bro. So, hey, thanks everybody, bro. I appreciate it all. I appreciate all the dope comments. I appreciate all the knowledge you guys drop for me. I appreciate all the videos you send in. Keep sending them too. Keep dropping them in the comment section. Getting me on Instagram, Facebook, all of that. The links are in the description box too, by the way. So, yo, run the numbers up on this. Click up, squad up, tap in. Stay safe, stay dangerous, and we're out. Peace.